Okie dokie. So for 12.5, number 13, we have a formula that says that the probability of A or B is the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. So we're just going to plug and chuck stuff into this formula. So they tell us that the probability of A or B is 0.7 and that the probability of A is 0.6. They don't tell us what the probability of B is, so I'll just leave that as P of B. And then minus the probability of A and B is 0.3. So it's your favorite, it's algebra now. So just combining stuff on this side, 0.6 minus 0.3 is 0.3 plus the probability of P of B, and that should equal 0.7. And then subtracting 0.3 from both sides, we get 0.4 equals the probability of B. And that's that. And so for number 21, I've drawn out the cards here. So for 21, they want the probability of getting an ace or a 2. So if we look, we have 4 aces and 4 2s. So there are 8 cards that we want out of 52 cards total. So probability is always what you want over what you've got. There are 8 that we want out of 52 that we've got. So that'll simplify to, let's see, divide them both by 2, you get 4 out of 26. Divide by 2 again, you get 2 out of 13. So there's 21. For 25, a little trickier. They want a card less than 8 or a club, and they're saying ace is considered low. So best thing for these is to just picture your things, circle what you want, and because sometimes if you don't do that with these ors, you end up double counting things. So we're just going to circle what we want. We want anything less than an 8. So we'll take all of these, less than an 8, so not including the 8. So we'll take all of those. The ace is considered low, so I have to grab this guy here. And then any of those will work, or any of the clubs. So I'll take any of these guys as well. So I've boxed all the ones that I want. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 24 cards in there. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So there are 34 cards that I want out of the 52 cards total. So that'll simplify to 17 out of 26. That should be my answer. And I've got the answers printed out over here, so I can just check to see whether we're good. 25, 17 out of 26. Perfect. All right, good so far. So now for 29, we're doing the same thing, but we're selecting 2 cards. So 29, they want the first card to show a lion and the second card to show a bird. And first we're choosing with replacement. So the probability that the first shows a lion, there are 5 with the lion out of the 5, 10, 15, 20 total. So that's the probability of picking a lion on my first pick. And for part A, we're replacing a lion. So on my second pick, I have the same probability. So just 5 out of 20 times 5 out of 20. I can simplify these both, just dividing top and the bottom by 5 that's 1/4 times 1/4 gives me 1/16 for that first one. Let me see who's calling me. Alright, got that. So that's done for part A, and then for part B, we're not putting the lion card back. So when we pick first, there are still 5 lions that we want out of 20 cards that we have, but on my next pick, there are only 4 lions left out of 19 cards remaining, because we didn't put the card we just pulled back. So that lion's not in there anymore, there are only 4 lions in there, and there are only 19 cards to choose from. So now we multiply these together, and again I can simplify a little bit. I can divide this by 5, top and bottom by 5, so that becomes a 1, that becomes a 4. Now I can divide the top and bottom by 4, so 4 divided by 4 is 1, 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now that it's simplified, I can multiply straight across 1 out of 19. And that's that. So for 33, neither shows an even number. So for part A, basically if they don't want an even number, we want odds. So there are all the 1s, all the 3s, and all the 5s are what we want. So there are 4 1s, 4 3s, 4 5s. So that's 12 cards that we want out of the 20 total. And again, for the first part, for part A, we are replacing the card. So on the second draw, we'll have the same probability as the first. Just multiplying these together. Divide by 4, so 3, divide by 4, 5, same thing. So multiplying straight across, get 9 out of 25 for part A. And then part B, now we're not replacing the card. So my first pick, there are still 12 cards that I want out of 20 total. But when I go to choose again, there's only 11 cards left that I want, because I already picked one and took it out, and 19 cards total. So simplifying this again, divide the top by 4, I get 3, divide the bottom by 4, I get 5. No more simplifying, so multiply straight on across, you get 33 over 95. So I'll just check that real fast. 33. Yep, looking good. So now, 37. 37, they want a lion or a 5. So you've got, again, this one best to just take and circle what you want out of the total. So, I don't know if you can see this. Here we go. Let's try this. Oh, perfect. Okay, so we want a lion or a 5. So we'll take any of these lions or any of those 5s. So just circle the lions and the 5s. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that we want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that are circled. Now just be super careful not to count that one twice, because it's both a lion and a 5. Just don't count it twice. We've circled those, just count the cards we have circled. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that we want out of 20 that we've got So 8 out of 20 simplifies to divide by 4, 2 out of 5. So that should be good for 37. Let me just check. Oh, it came out bad. Sorry. Seven, 2 out of 5. Yep, we're good. Alright, on to the next. So 37, next one is 41. Green and then red. Alright. So 41. Spinner spun twice. Determine the probability that it lands on green and then red. So the probability of it landing on green, it looks like it's a half. And then the probability that it lands on red is a fourth. Just multiply those two together and you get an eighth. So we're happy about that. And then for 45, so we're going to spin the top spinner first and then the bottom spinner second. And they want the probability of red on both spins. So on the top spinner, there's a 1/4 chance of getting red. And on the bottom spinner, if you picture that cut into eighths, so all of this, should have my colors, all of this is red, and this is red. So picture it cut into eighths, and 1, 2, 3 of the eighths are red. So 3/8 to get red on that second spinner. Just multiply those straight on across. You get 3 out of 32. And that's that. For 53,